Hello, everyone. Wednesday was my second workout with my new 5x5 program that I didn't really develop on my own, aside from poaching a lot of disparate elements from novice programs that I deemed to be useful to me. Today is the first day that I'm wearing basically my entire outfit. I really like white, and I will tolerate black. So it's a white and black outfit. I got my shirt and my socks in the mail basically at the same time. I think they came on the same day. And it's just in time for me because this workout will feature deadlifting. And I really wanted to try out some deadlifting socks because while I have deadlifted in the past, I would just let the bar rip my legs open. I didn't give a shit. But I'm old now and I get sick a lot easier, so I'm going to not do that. I'm going to just wear socks like an adult. And in this case, like an 85-year-old adult, because these socks are stupid long and I've got tiny shorts on. But I don't care. One thing that I really liked about these socks is that they have the camo on the back. So even though I train calves, you'll never know because they're gone. They're invisible. So coming into this workout, I felt pretty tired from my last one still. I still felt a little bit of residual soreness in my quads, and I felt it on the first two warm-ups, but once I got into my work sets, it wasn't too bad. I decided, when I was looking at my workout setup, the way that the original 5x5 program arranged the exercises, it's to do the squat and then go immediately into deadlifting. But I made the executive decision that the gym being as busy as it tends to be, I would just go from squatting into the overhead press so I could retain use of the squat rack while doing them, and then I wouldn't have to try to figure out another camera position later or whatever. So I'm sure that's fine. I'm sure it's not a big deal. I mean, I was considering changing the workout order entirely and doing some kind of pressing before squatting, a la Grayskull, but I don't know, I just didn't really feel it. I felt like, since I'm resetting anyway, and since I'm going to be progressing so slowly, I would rather come in and do something slightly more technically demanding for me and consistently do it first, because otherwise I feel like squatting and pressing, or not squatting and pressing, benching and pressing are different in terms of what they do to fatigue me before doing a squat. So while I have obviously workouts recorded in the past that are some kind of upper body movement before squatting, I feel like if I'm going to stick to a program long term, I should just always squat first and use that as my gauge for the rest of the workout. I feel like if I hadn't done well on my squatting, I wouldn't want to sacrifice squat progress for overhead press progress in the novice stage. You know, right now I just want to get my strength up. I want to get some hypertrophy going. Looking at my looking at my DEXA scan, there we go. The two things that are, so the obvious parts of the scan are, it looks at bone mass, fat mass, and lean mass. And bone mass is, essentially, as long as you're within a comparative value range, you don't really have to worry about it. And I'm like 2 deviations above the normal range. I got bone mass to spare, no problems there. And I have a 3-factor model, I think this is what he said it was called. The tech that was working with me on it said that it's the only scan that does it this way. It has three factors to look through. So the 3-factor model subtracts bone mass from your total mass and then divides your, I'm really overcomplicating this explanation. It looks at your lean mass and your fat mass and your bone mass and then it gives you your fat percentage without looking at your bone mass. So it gives me, on that model, says I have about 37% body fat, 36.6 I think is what it specifically said. And yeah, that's super fat, but what it also told me is that I have not so much lean mass either. So if I were to cut, I'm not revealing any mass. I would still, like, I could cut for the whole year and I still wouldn't look like I lift. And I'm not into that. I'm not into that idea. What I would prefer to do is do a moderate volume program, like a 5x5, which I'm doing here, until, I may or may not recomposition at all. But if I am going to recomposition, eventually I'm going to hit a wall where I can no longer recover from the volume that I'm doing. And when I naturally have to reduce volume anyway, because of getting stronger, obviously, then I would feel better about restricting calories, because that's what you do when you restrict calories, is you lower your volume. But when I lower volume, I can't really train for hypertrophy. That kind of gets into a catch-22 for me. So I decided to look at it both ways. And what I came to as my conclusion is that I need more lean mass worse than I need to lose body fat. I could lose fat and just just accidentally gain not body mass. I could intentionally lose fat mass and accidentally gain lean mass, or I can intentionally gain lean mass and accidentally lose fat mass, because I'm not going to gorge myself on my calorie intake or anything like that. I'm still kind of choking on bronchitis right now. I finished out my antibiotics, but unfortunately that wasn't a guarantee that I would no longer be sick by the end of my antibiotics. I feel better, but I think I'm still sick. So at least I can breathe enough to do my 5 rep sets. And I do seem to be able to recover from most of them within 3 minutes. So I'm encouraged by that. But for now, I think, and especially as I'm as weak as I am, especially with as weak as I am, I want to reap the benefits of being a weak, overfat, returning lifter, which seem to be all of the factors, not including drug use, that seem to position somebody at the ability to engage in a recomposition. So I'm tracking my calories, and I'm going to average them out over 3 weeks and see what it does to my body mass overall. And then the 4th week, which is going to be, let me look at the calendar. I think the final week is next week, and it's the week before New Year. So that's perfect. So I can be a New Year's resolutioner and talk about how I'm losing all this fat and craziness and whatever, but it's really probably just going to be like a pound or 2 a week. And while I'm gaining muscle mass, I'm not going to care too much about whether I lose fat every given week, every single week. But I'm probably not going to continue gaining in the new year. I'm probably going to try to keep my overall weight stable, because I think I'm probably going to tap out my lean gains at like 10 to 12 pounds next year, because I'm just genetically disadvantaged. So at some point, I'm going to cap out my lean gains, and we'll just necessarily have to start losing fat to move the scale in any direction at all. So I don't know. I don't really think... It's not complicated to me when I'm thinking about it, but trying to explain it makes it sound like I'm way overthinking it, which is a little annoying, gotta say. But I feel like I've really bought into what I want to do with my next year in terms of training and my diet. My diet is a little bit higher quality, but I don't think it's lower in overall caloric intake. I think I'm just getting better micronutrient content and less straight sugar for my carbohydrate sources. And I think those are the two major fixes that I've had lately. Eating less like white bread and more steel-cut oats, which is kind of a big jump compared to like, I'm going to go from white bread to whole wheat bread or something like that. Just cut the bread out and I just have more oatmeal. I have more potatoes and not so much pasta. Still pasta, but more potatoes. I don't know. Neither of those things are going to like really cut my overall body weight that much. I just have a more satisfying diet with the calories that I'm eating, so I'm not eating gradually more over time. So I'm kind of glad that I got sick, even though like I gained a bunch of weight because I stress eat when I'm sick, because it got me to just accidentally appreciate bland food. A lot of I was eating a lot of instant oatmeal and saying I was eating oatmeal, but while I was sick, I was eating just plain steel cut oats and water and no additional flavor at all because I couldn't taste it anyway. And now that I can taste things, I'm not disappointed by the quote blandness of it. So here, after the dips, I also did some sets of ab work and some sets of calf work, but when I was reviewing the footage for both of those, I decided to not include them because where you were seeing me doing the dips there, I was using the cable station to the right, and to the left there was a woman using the thigh machine, and I feel bad about including a crotch shot of a woman exercising in my videos. All right, I'm not gonna do that. So sorry, but not sorry, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out.